everybody, I'm Tiffany Smith.
I am Kristian Harloff. It is day one of Comic-Con from the Fandango space, and my goodness, Tiffany, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, we are so excited to be here. I don't know if our facial expressions express how pumped we are about Comic-Con, but all the fans have come. I don't know what that means.
I was trying to help you along.
But all the fans have come out. We're walking around a little bit last night. The excitement levels are just going up, up, and up. Obviously, at Comic-Con, you've always got new movie content, comic book writers, artists, actors. It is an awesome experience, and I am so excited.
As you should be. This is a celebration of fandom. If you like Star Wars, it's here. If you like Marvel, it's here. There's so much here that you can just celebrate for being a fan of all these wonderful things.
Absolutely. And we're really excited because, like I said, there's tons of exclusive content, new stuff people have never seen before about all of the geeky things that you're excited about, I'm excited about too.
I feel like you set me up. What do you got?
Well, right now, you guys, we've got an awesome clip for you. We're going to get into it in a second, but it is focusing on one of the movies that I'm most excited about. Do you know what it is?
No, tell me. You keep teasing. Tell me.
So Suicide Squad,
I've
everyone
heard of that
is
movie.
super pumped.
Right.
Have you?
Yes, heard it a little bit.
What did you think of the first trailer?
I really enjoyed the first trailer. I like everything I've seen so far just coming up to this movie. I like David Ayer very much. I want to see his representation of furthering the DC cinematic universe. I want to see the take with all the villains kind of in the front. They've never done anything like that. It's everything I've seen so far, very excited.
Well, definitely have not seen enough yet, so I'm excited because right now, you guys, we were very lucky to get an extended clip for you to check out about one of those characters that I think everybody is super excited to find out more about.
Can I guess who?
Sure.
Is it the Joker?
It is the Joker!
I'm so good at this.
That was my Joker laugh. It was not very good.
Not great, but I bet you the clip will be better. Can we watch it?
I bet you the clip will be better, so let's check it out.
Where is she? This is not just her. Everybody's disappeared.
You know the rules, Hotness. You gotta keep off these bars.
Blah, blah, blah. All of that chit-chat's gonna get you hurt. I can't wait to show you my toys.
He's a psychotic antisocial freak.
What?
Careful.
Suicide Squad, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX 3D.
You do want to show that by seeing Batman in that clip, you do want to show that this is indeed connected to Batman v Superman. We're going to see more of Batman, obviously, in Justice League. So that was good, but it's obviously not going to focus on him. It's about those characters and how crazy it is with Bohemian Rhapsody in the background.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing for this film.
Well, I have to say,
Great
I
clip.
feel like Jared Leto's casting was one of the most talked about castings when this movie came out, that people were like, how is he going to do the Joker? What's his take on it going to be? So seeing that extended clip right there, I am so on board with everything that he's doing. And I even heard that a lot of people said on set, you know, when he walked on, because he was very in character, that people were scared and people just stopped what they were doing to watch his performance.
It's funny because whether or not you take Jack Nicholson or the late Heath Ledger and you hear of the way that this character, what they had to do in order to perform as this character, each one of them have these kind of stories. So it's no surprise that Jared Leto was doing this on set.
Well, and I think the great thing too about this movie in particular is we haven't really seen a movie where, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy came out, we didn't know all the characters. This is kind of similar in that way, where I know a lot of people maybe don't necessarily know that much about all of the characters. I mean, Harley Quinn was first introduced in the animated series, so until recently there wasn't a lot of comic book content, tons on her. So I think the cool part is getting to see the two of them together and the take that they have.
I need to watch it again. I want to watch it again.
Okay, I can totally do that. I'm so on board for that.
Use your
Let's do
powers.
it. Play the clip.
Where is she? This is not just her. Everybody's disappeared.
As Harley Quinn.
You know the rules, Hotness. You gotta keep off these bars.
the other ones, he was just really well committed.
All of that
Probably all
chit
committed as
chat's
far
gonna
as
get
getting
you
deep down
hurt.
to control the character.
I can't wait to show you my toys.
And I think the thing that shows that people are excited about a movie like this is how many people are cosplaying the characters already.
Right.
Where you walk around San Diego and you're seeing tons of Harley Quinns from the movie, specifically the wardrobe that she's wearing. And the same thing with the Joker.
The tatted up Joker, yeah. I'm so curious to know like what the history of the Joker and Batman is, like if they touch on that at all in this film.
Well, the cool part too is the fact that if you do read Suicide Squad comics, the Joker has never been a part of the Suicide Squad.
Right.
So I think that people are kind of guessing and trying to figure out what his part is going to be in this movie, how he's really going to come into play, and just getting to see those shots where it's like visually the stuff that they do. Again, when you make a comic book movie, if you can make it look like an epic splash page, like I am totally on board, and I think we got to see a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think that's
that clip.
Sorry, I think one of the things for me is I don't want him to have a huge role in this movie. I think there's going to be time for him to have a huge role. I just want him to have an impact, which it certainly seems like he's going to have an impact in this movie. Please and thank you for having him in the movie, but I want to see how you're saying, how they're going to incorporate it with the Suicide Squad, what his relationships are, obviously with Harley Quinn, what it was with Batman. There's so many questions I already have, and we are not that far away from this movie.
I cannot wait, you guys. And I think another really interesting casting, they had Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, which that character is so intimidating. She literally sucks the oxygen out of a room.
Yeah.
And having her with all of these characters that have such big personalities, I think is just such great casting.
Well, I think that's what comic book movies in general have done. That switch over the last 10 years is the top tier talent that they have been going after, whether it's on the Marvel side, even most recently like Black Panther by going after someone like Ryan Coogler or Chadwick Boseman, and now you have, like you mentioned, a Jared Leto in Suicide Squad, Viola Davis. They have and David Ayer directing it. Mm-hmm. They really have taken, and I think that there's a lot to be said about what Christopher Nolan did with his Batman movies, showing you that you could do these superhero films, but in the serious tone where this is a real world. And even though you're having characters like that may be a little bit, obviously in the Batman and Superman universe where you're not playing in the real way Nolan did, but you certainly still feel that it is all happening and you trust and believe that these are all real people.
Yeah, well, and for a lot of people who don't necessarily know that much about what the Suicide Squad is, they are a group of villains, super villains that are put together to really stop anything bad that happens. Amanda Waller brings them all together from Belle Rev. They're all the crazies of Gotham. Yeah. And I love it so much because if you read the comics as well, they're also called Task Force X. And the cool part is that sometimes they transition characters in and out. So that lends itself really well that I think if fans respond well to this first movie, fingers crossed, we are going to see more Suicide Squad.
I think we will because it's already just on Fandango alone tracking really well. The excitement for this movie through the roof. But I think the other thing that what I read, and I believe it was from David Ayer, was the perspective of Batman from the Suicide Squad. That's where it's almost like where he is this like horror creature to them, and they have a vendetta. He's the bad guy almost, and I think that he's going to be like the bad guy to us the way he's portrayed. When you hear about someone from another point of view, and you're hearing it from the Suicide Squad's point of view of how he put them away or whatever he might have done. Yeah.
Well, and you talk about Batman being involved in this, and then we got to see that clip and see the photos that came out where it's the Joker in the Lamborghini with the bat on top. And you're just like, what is this? How is that character really going to be connected to Batman? And, obviously, when those first images of Jared came out, I think everyone was like, what is this Joker going to exactly be like? I know it was a very different look than, like you said, what we got with Heath or Jack Nicholson,
it's like a
for
punk
instance.
look almost.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the maniacal aspect of this character works so well with the look that they gave him, where it's like he is very much over the top, but the part that makes him look so crazy is that he's got the tattoos, but then the crazy hair. Put all of that together, and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to get from this guy.
It's like a mixture of both the two, because you can see it's just in the clip that we just watched. There's shots where he's got no shirt on, and he's all tatted up, and he's just like he's hitting the top of the roof. He's crazy at one point. He's smiling at the other. He's laying on the floor with just kind of with that crazy laugh. But then he's in the suit, and he looks it's like, oh, that's classy Joker now.
Yeah.
There's so much to him already, and there's only just been trailers. He has already portrayed this, Jared Leto has made this his own. And he kind of, like you said, you have to do that, especially when you're following what Heath Ledger did in the Nolan Batmans. You have to make it different. So of course, when he's first introduced, people are gonna say, well, I don't know, and that's exactly what they said when Heath Ledger did that, because he was being compared to Jack Nicholson. So I think, because of the type of actor that Jared Leto is, I think that this version of the Joker is going to really resonate with a lot of fans. I'm hoping for it, and I believe it's gonna happen.
Well, and I also think too, what I'm really expecting for this one, as a comic book reader, I'm kind of like, I hope they don't incorporate too much of him. I hope we get a taste of him, and you get to kind of see, like, who is this? What is he doing with this character? Because there are so many characters they're introducing. My ultimate dream for this movie is that we meet the Joker, and then it's like, okay, we just want so much more of him after this movie.
Yeah, you kind of have to do that, I think. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I would hope that that's what we're going to get. And I think that we're going to get that, because you also don't want to take away from the Suicide Squad. You want to really portray them. I think that Harley Quinn is going to be the one that you're really, really focusing on, because she can be our super crazy for the whole movie. We'll get Joker. I think that you don't want to waste Joker for one movie, because you want him to be part of the standalone Batman films that Affleck will do. Well,
and I think you can't talk about the Joker without talking about one of the best comic books of all time, The Killing Joke.
Right.
Because that is what really introduced, for me, who this character is, how his mind works, kind of that backstory where it's like you never really know when he's telling the truth or when he's not. And you talk about The Killing Joke, and obviously we're getting the animated film version of that this year, which is insane. And having someone like Mark Hamill come back to voice that character.
Who some people will say is the best Joker also.
Well, absolutely. That's what I'm saying, where it's like all of these heavy hitters as actors. And, you know, for me, I grew up watching the animated series, so hearing his voice again, even just hanging out in the DC booth, there's some, like, voiceover that they're doing, like, trailers of it. And I'm like, every time I hear it, I'm like, that is so amazing.
It is beyond amazing. The fact that Mark Hamill is such a talented actor in general, but he's one of the best voiceover actors maybe of all time. And you talked about things that Comic-Con attendees get to do. People are going to be able to see this. They're going to premiere The Killing Joke. It's going to be a lot of fun for everyone. I want to go. I want to see it. Hopefully we are able to do it. I don't know yet, but I'm fingers crossed that we can see Killing Joke.
Well, I have to say, as we're talking about all this, and we're talking about all the different actors who've played the Joker, I would I can't decide. I'm like, would I love to be in the room? Would I not love to be in the room with everyone that has played that character? You know, we play the games where it's like, if you could ever be in the room with all of these people, being in that space and hearing all of their experiences playing that character would be pretty awesome.
I mean, I think that if you want, out of all the stories of, you have the late Heath Ledger, to hear how he had kind of gotten into the role here in Mark Hamill, but I don't know, there's something just to hear Jack Nicholson's stories.
Oh, man.
Yeah, even if they weren't about Batman, I just want to hear his stories about going to, a supermarket. It's just that guy was the best.
Well, you guys too, as we're talking about all of this, we want you guys to get involved in the conversation too. Let us know some of your favorite characters, some characters you would want to see. Would you want to be in the room with all those actors who've played the Joker? For me, I have to say, talking about the Suicide Squad, it's hard to pick a favorite character, but I would probably have to go with Harley Quinn.
Yeah, right now, and I'm not going to lie and say that I'm so caught up and know a lot about the Suicide Squad. I don't. I want to learn about them through this film, and I'll probably, after I see the film, go through it and do more research. But right now, yes, I would say that Harley Quinn or even Deadshot are the two that I am looking forward to the most from what I've seen in the trailers. And obviously the Joker, but I mean, out of the main Suicide Squad, those two.
Well, and the interesting thing too is a character like Deadshot, when it initially came out that it was going to be Will Smith playing the character, I was kind of curious. I wasn't sure how that would work, if I felt like it clicked. Kind of the same feeling you have when it's like any character you grew up reading, where you're like, how's that going to work?
Right, you do your own casting inside your head, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, hearing that for David Ayer, it was always Will Smith. Like, he wanted Will.
Is that what he said?
And this character is really he's so layered, and that's the thing I think people are gonna see from this movie is all of these Suicide Squad characters, even though they're villains, they have so many layers, and Deadshot is a character that in the comic books has a child, has that connection there where it's like, even though he's doing these awful things, it's like he still has a heart and you still get to see that side of him, and I think that's what Will can bring to this that's so great because he is such a good actor.
Well, you need to make them relatable, and even if you go back to something like Ant-Man, right, and what they did with Paul Rudd and what he did. Now I haven't seen, I don't know enough about Deadshot to the crimes that maybe he committed, but in Ant-Man, Paul Rudd obviously committed a bunch of crimes too, and they did that though. They made you.
Well,
know
I mean,
that
it's
you
a
could
little
do
more
things.
extreme than that. His name is Deadshot, which means he never misses, which means
Correct. Well,
he's a hired gun.
Of course, but the point is that you have to relate to them. No matter what terrible things that they've done. You as an audience member, you have to like them. You have to be rooting for them. Otherwise, you're not gonna care, and you're gonna be rooting against them.
Yeah.
So I think that by having Will Smith, who is one of the more likable actors of all time, and is a really great actor, it was a smart choice.
Well, and I got to ask you, Kristian, how do you feel about Boomerang?
I don't know anything yet. I don't know enough yet. I mean, I haven't. This is again when I go back and I watch like all the stuff too. It just more and more and more because you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And the thing I didn't know anything about Guardians.
Characters.
No, I knew nothing about them too. But by going in and it's how they work as a unit.
Yep.
Also, that was the thing about Guardians of the Galaxy was the team worked so well. That this is what I also am going for. I'm looking for the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I want to see how they work, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you guys, this has been so much fun talking all about Suicide Squad, checking out that extended clip that we just shared with you guys. And if you want to watch that over and over and over and over again, like I'm going to do, make sure you head over to Fandango.com.
And you should be doing that for everything, all across social media. Check out Fandango for all of our content throughout the con. It's going to be super, super exciting for everything we're doing here.
I'm so excited. You guys, we will be back here from this space with even more straight out of San Diego Comic-Con.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Tiffany.
Bye, Kristian.